Jaya Jaya, gorgeous beings. I want to call this video Profound Stages of Human Evolution. We are back into the field of galactivation and the long-term evolution of the planet and humankind. And the insights that I want to give you right now are, of course, intuitive insights, visions of what the future of our planet and humankind can be. And I want to talk more specifically about our telepathic abilities. So very often when we think about telepathy, we think of, one message, I have a thought, and then that thought is being transmitted to somebody, or a sensation or a feeling or something, and that person picks it up. So it's just a one linear thing. Now imagine that telepathy and what is emerging in that field of intuitive abilities, it's not a linear thing. It's something that is a multidimensional experience where we enter into a reality which is just a space, an energy reality, where we are being bombarded all the time by messages, insights, and a space where we can actually pick up, download, activate, and share, and basically it's a field of resonance that we are activating. And my belief is that this is what it's going to look like. So why or how does this evolve? How do we evolve to being in that reality? Well, look at what's happening with the field of the internet, right? The cyberspace. So in the internet itself, we are now exposed to fields of energy that are not just information being transmitted to us. We enter into reality. We have virtual bodies. Our identity, our online identity in a social network. For instance, if you have an Instagram profile, your identity on Instagram will be probably sometimes quite different than what it is in real life. There is going to be a whole story, something that develops itself and that creates a field of reality right over there. In Instagram, you will have a network of people, you will have connections, activities, things that you do over there that are very different than what happens in the physical reality. And so that's for Instagram, but then you have Facebook, and then you have other social networks, and all of that creates this field of reality where you sleep about, you dream about it, you take actions around it, and we are embedded and basically immersed within that energy reality. Any social network like Facebook or Instagram is not just a one-time linear thing. We post something. No, it impacts all areas of our life. It impacts the way we do business. It impacts all of that. And so the reason why I'm giving this example is because this is not the end of the story. Imagine that the next stage right now, what we are practicing right now, is to be in a unified field of consciousness. Before before the internet, we had television, right? Radio, which is like, it's sending signals that way, but we cannot communicate both ways. Now with the internet, it's a very different thing, because we enter into a reality where the laws of engagement and the rules of engagement and what we do, how we play, the way we communicate, what we say or how we say it, is a new reality. There's a physical reality, and then there's the reality of what's happening over there in the cyberspace. So this is not the end of the story, because right now we are still dealing with a physical reality. There is still a body, there is still a screen, but now we have a unified field of consciousness that we are tapping into. Unified field of consciousness is because with what I'm doing right now, just this video that I'm filming and recording, I have the power to reach the totality of the planet and the world. As long as the people who are watching this are connected, of course they need to be online, but that's a little detail. But basically, it's like it gives me an access to a reality or to a world that goes all the way around the world, and then that information comes back to me in different forms and different sources. So this is incredible. It's a democratization of information that was not there before. The last time there was something like that happening, my belief is when the printing press was developed and the books were no longer just a one-time thing that some very selected people could access, but then suddenly it became something that most people could actually access, because there was suddenly a vast number of books. Before that, they needed to be written by hand, right? by some monks in a monastery somewhere. Whereas then, when the printing press was invented, then suddenly it became a democratization of access to the information. And this is what's happening right now as well. The internet is taking that step. So the reason why I'm talking about that is because I believe there is the next step, and you could call that the invisible network or the invisible internet, the telepathic reality that we are entering into. And right now we are simply preparing ourselves to be able to evolve to that reality. I believe this is what's happening. So when we talk about evolving into the spiritual net or the galactic net or the galactic network, as I call it, the galactic grid, it means that we are able to enter into a field of consciousness that is permeating absolutely everything on this galaxy and maybe beyond, right? But for now, let's focus on this galaxy. Imagine that you have thousands of human-like races that are creating this net of energy, of consciousness, that we are going to start participating into as human race, as we evolve into a galactic space race. And race doesn't mean that we are space beings, doesn't mean necessarily that we are physically traveling and physically moving from the planet Earth, but it means that we have a consciousness that is able to access this grid and able to, basically travel energetically, not physically, but travel energetically through this amazing network that represents the galactic grid. So when we enter into that field, realize that we are no longer into linear communication. It's not just a thought, an emotion, a feeling, something that is being transmitted in this linear way, but it's like it radiates in all directions, and we perceive it exactly in the same way. So I don't think that right now we have the full conceptual understanding of what that means on a multidimensional level. It means that our rational brain can no longer comprehend that, because the amount of information that are coming through is beyond anything that we can imagine. And when we enter into that dimension, then it's no longer third or fourth dimension. It's no longer just energetics. We enter into a divine reality, which we can call the Buddhic plane. And within that, I think that once we enter into that reality, it's like way, way beyond anything that we can conceive at this stage, because our rational ability cannot really comprehend the complexity and the dimension of what's happening over there. My feeling is that the main thing that we need to be able to do to enter into that reality is start moving beyond linear and rational thought patterns to intuitive thought patterns or intuitive realities. And then beyond that, then when we enter into the Buddhic realm, because the intuitive reality is more like still within the human reality, it means that our personalities are able to function in an intuitive way. But when we enter into the Buddhic realm, then that's it. We go full-on cosmic beings, and there is a whole new reality that can kick in. So it's not something that we have to worry too much at this stage, but because it's still far away in the future of the human race, I believe. But we have hints, we have places where we can see that something magical is happening. And the cyberspace that we've been creating via the internet is, I believe, one of the training grounds or one of the stepping stones towards our future evolution. And the core element to remember from this video is, when you think about telepathy, think about something way, way vaster than just linear lines of communication. Imagine that you enter into a field, into a reality where everything is interconnected on an energetic level, and sources and codes and information, all that is being circulated within a reality that is really, really, really vast. And when we go into that space, we go beyond time and space. Means we enter into fields of eternity, and we can suddenly, all that becomes really demystified, because it becomes an energy reality in which we live all the time. Exciting. I love the potential of our future as human race. I think we are about to tap into incredible new dimensions. I love you.